Hi, today is April 1st, 2020. So I'm going to discuss with you on the path to end the coronavirus crisis. And in this presentation, we're going to discuss some of experience they have and to control the spread of the virus. And hope we can learn something from them to use their experience to enhance our ability to control the virus spread. By now, the coronavirus has spread to almost every country, and based on data today, and officially about close to 1 million people was diagnosed with this virus infection. And we know that the actual number will be at least 10 times more. And because many people have infected but they don't know it. And the virus has crushed economies and broken healthcare systems, filled hospitals and empty public spaces. And it has spread people from the workplaces and the friends. It has disrupted modern society on a scale that most living people have never witnessed. Very soon, every people in the United States will know someone who have been infected by this coronavirus. Like World War II and the 9/11 attack, this pandemic has already implemented itself upon the nation's cycle. Yet everyone want to know how can we end this crisis. So now let's have a look at several countries which have certain levels of control on this coronavirus transmission or spread. We cannot say they have finally won the war against this coronavirus, but at least there's some experience for us to learn, so we know what we need to do. And we just take data from daily new cases, and that is the most important for us to look at. The only if we have controlled the new cases daily, then it's possible for us to control the spread of the virus. If you have new cases, that means you have no control. Here's the case in China. And on the top panel, this is daily new cases. And by the January 23rd, the Chinese government realized that coronavirus infection is a very serious disease. Basically, on January 23rd, they locked down the country. And you can see that this action actually is, right now we see it is the right one. And you see outcome. So, based on all the science and all this data, because the incubation time of the virus is about 14 days. So, from January 23rd, after 2 weeks, 14 days, and that's around January 8th or January 8th, around this time. And then this new case is a plateau. And so take another, that means the plateau means that the highest number of the new cases. From there, they start because the practice shut down the country. So the virus cannot spread around population. So from 2 weeks, the plateau, and then another 2 weeks from 8 to 20 days, 20 around 24. and then the cases reach the baseline. And this is a daily death. Daily deaths are also about 2 weeks from this. The window is about 2 weeks late than this new case, because usually you need 15 to 30 days. People, if they catch the virus, they're going to die. So the plateau is around this February, in this area, February 18. That is about 2 weeks from this plateau of the new case. So take another 2 weeks from February 18 to March, beginning of March, and that is gradually reached to the baseline. So China exercised really strict lockdown policy. They just locked down the country for about 1 month. So you can see that's very clear. After 2 weeks, the virus would reach plateau. If we don't have this action, and this curve will going to, I think, go continuous increase. So because the exercise is knocked down the country, so you can see this 2 weeks they reach plateau, and another 2 weeks and reach the baseline. And this is Chinese example that indicate that the lockdown countries very strict social distancing, quarantine, isolation. That's really work. Let's look at the case in South Korea. And South Korea is one of the best example how the action of government can solve a big problem. They really have very, very swift action. And before they have these cases in South Korea, they already established this diagnostic kit. So when they first find this case in South Korea, they carry out extensive testing. They test people who have a symptom, and test people which have contact with people suffer from this disease. And this is very, very effective, looks very, very effective, because we are in the war, we fight in the war, we fight with this virus, but the virus is unseen. We don't know the viruses. So the Korea's experience is that on February 18, as soon as they find new cases, they're going to test any people which have contact with these people with self diseases, and to test everyone, and then tracking them, and then of course isolation, quarantine. And they also use some very modern technology to add into this monitoring of this the cases, and they create a GPS-enabled application to monitor those people under quarantine, and they were going to alarm if these people went outdoor. And also give everyone with a mobile phone in the country receive alerts about the nearby infection paths, so that citizens can avoid areas where virus was known to be active. So by doing so, they make everything transparent. They know where is the virus. So really example, in South Korea, they managed to turn the outbreak along without lockdown the city, without banning traveling. So it's completely different from what happened in China. China just locked down everything. Of course, Chinese also use some technology to monitor the population. But in China, basically, they locked down cities and also ban travel. And So, but South Korea, they managed to turn this outbreak down without locking down the cities and without ban travel. People have normal life. And that is this should be the way to be like this. So we know the method Chinese takes blocking of certain areas and stop movement was what people did in the Middle Ages when they deal with Black Death. During that time, because they don't know what caused infection and they don't know where the disease was spreading. Now we have modern technology. We can identify the enemy. So the Korea case is one of the most successful cases. I wish all the country can learn from this Korea and use this method. So you have quick action. Testing, and after testing and tracking, quarantine, and then look at the daily deaths. So basically they have no big increase. So this is only few cases of deaths are almost equally spread around this time frame. That's because they have used a very successful program. And here's the Italy, and Italy is kind of is a developed country. Is a democratic country. So, and this exercise this knockdown for certain area. So in the general, they already have case that don't take it very, very serious. There's, even so, they lockdown locally, but looks like it lost control. And on March 9th, finally they start to have a national lockdown. And March 9th, and looks like this lockdown is have a good outcome. You see that this is March 9, about 2 weeks. We don't know. We hope that looks like the cases the new cases start to drop. If this is the case, they continue to drop, and that means this national lockdown is working, because on 9th, after 2 weeks, that's on 26, 28. So they reach plateau. And if this is right, if they exercise this lockdown seriously and strictly, and that means that in 2 weeks, that means along April 10th or something, this case going to go down. And I wish that Italy government and Italy people can really exercise this strict quarantine. So it looks like that good trend. They're going to have go down the new cases, and also, and if this is a plateau, so, and then about 2 weeks, we're going to see this deaths reach plateau and then gradually go down. And the case of Italy is maybe just set up for the example of US, basically same situation. In United States, and first case is end of January, I think it's January 23rd, they have, because country is so big, and first case is in Washington State, and Washington State exercised this some kind of social distancing, isolation, quarantine. Right now, and the cases in Washington State is come down, and almost like the case in China, but not reach this baseline, but go down after they exercise this policy of quarantine. And today, and President Trump announced another 1 month of quarantine guideline. That means we're going to plan to use another month. And even so, we already did something, but because the country is so big, every state have their own policy, and that is really difficult situation to as a country. So because you cannot do things like in China to knock down the country completely, but on the other hand, the Korea model may be the good one. So, but right now we at least did extensive testing. So this is the thing we do to identify where the virus here is. So we know the enemy, then we know where to avoid it. And because right now the case of US is more like in Italy, we don't practice strict quarantine, and most people still can travel around. Even so, it's limited traveling, but people still moving around. There's no strict quarantine. So the cases, but start from yesterday, President Trump said we're going to exercise 1 more month of quarantine. So I think in 2 weeks from here, as predicted by President Trump, that 2 weeks we're going to reach plateau, and then take another 2 weeks, and the new cases are going down. This is just prediction. So in order to reach this goal, as every citizen needs to do something. Stay at home. Try, if you're sick, absolutely don't go to work, go to anywhere. So need self-quarantine, self-isolation. But in the end, I think we're going to control this spread of the virus. And we will see but right now, the US is really the epicenter of this pandemic, and New York City is the real epicenter of US. And we're going to see what happened after we exercise this kind of quarantine. And I think we're going to see this we're going to see some outcome in 2 weeks, and in 1 month we hope that the new case we're going to reach the baseline. And that is for today. I wish to see you in my next video.